Hey, I want to talk about the critical role that integration plays following peak spiritual or religious experiences. I'm Brian Russell, and thanks for taking a walk with me. When we look at our spiritual lives, there's always that kind of debate on, is it crisis moments of experience, or is it kind of gradual growth, or is it a process? And the answer, of course, is it's usually a little bit of both. There's always peak experiences. But here's the danger. If we only focus on peak experiences, it sets us up for disappointment when we fall off of those peaks. So I want to use a metaphor. A lot of times we talk about mountaintop experiences, but let's think about that. Let's talk about skyscraper experiences instead, right? So just in the urban landscape, we don't have mountains, we have really tall buildings. So if you imagine the top of the building as that peak experience, that unitive experience, those moments that you have with God when everything goes great, or maybe you're at a conference and there's a outpouring of the Spirit, or a powerful revival service, or something even happens when you're on like a personal retreat. We've all had those moments, or maybe you've had some moment like that. By itself, that's like jumping into an elevator to get to the top of the skyscraper. It's like, I just want that peak experience. And so you go blasting up to the roof in the elevator, and it's awesome while you're at the top. But again, a couple days later, bam, you're right back down, ground floor all over again. Now contrast that with what it would take to get to the top of a skyscraper using the stairs. Then you're going up step by step, floor by floor. Again, we're not talking about our own effort here, so don't confuse grace with the elevator versus the stairs. But when you climb up stairs, if you fall, you're likely not rolling down all the way back to the bottom. Maybe you slide down a couple of steps, maybe you go down to floor, but then what do? You just get back up and the climb continues. So what does that have to do with religious experiences? Well, here's the key thing. I'm not on this video to discourage or even criticize having those rooftop, mountaintop crisis experiences, but the key thing is, the spiritual life isn't chasing after those, like, I got to go back and get on the elevator again. No, you don't actually. What we need to learn is the process of, again, what I like to call deep dive spirituality. It's the long game, not the short game. It's the marathon, not the sprint. And so that means we need integration in our spiritual life. And what does integration mean? It means setting up daily practices. That's the staircases that give us a container and a plan for experiencing not just moments of profound grace, but experiencing a lifetime of grace. Will there be high points? Yes. But what you'll notice is the lows won't be as low. And you begin to actually enjoy the climb of it all. And so take a look, like, what right now, if you've had a really powerful experience, what are you doing to integrate that back into your regular life? Maybe you need to do some decentering practices. When I had some powerful experiences last year, I just started doing the opposite in a lot of areas of my life, like doing different walks around my neighborhood, going to restaurants, ordering different food, listening to different music, simply to break up my old patterns, lest I just come crashing back to earth. So when you had a powerful experience with God, don't look for the next elevator. Look for the staircase. And remember, going up the stairs, you'll build up the spiritual muscles through the means of grace, through good body practices, through the typical means of grace, scripture, prayer, and also by learning to take every thought captive. The other thing that we can do is, if you imagine yourself climbing upstairs, not only are you getting stronger, but another question is, what are you carrying that you need to let go of so it's easier to climb? So what practices and tolerations do you have that are actually causing gravity to have a greater force in your spiritual life? That's what I'm thinking about this morning, friends. If you have questions, I'll always love to hear from you. You can reach out to me, Brian. My email is deepdivespirituality@gmail.com. You can reply to wherever you're seeing this video. If I can serve you in any way, let me know. Until next time, remember, I love Bob Tuttle's advice: show up, pay attention. God's got way more invested in this than you or I do. Live by faith, be known by love, be a voice of hope to others.